Fashion, aka Brazilian butt lift fashion, was created as a way to market and sell BBLs. Why? Guys, hourglass body shapes have always been existing naturally amongst brown and black women, but we were not wearing clothes like this to flatter our shape. Let's not pretend that there isn't other flattering styles for hourglass shapes. Me saying I don't like BBL fashion isn't me being anti-curve or anti-hourglass, which can also be seen as being anti-brown or black, because that's where most women tend to have that body shape. Because there's been so many other styles that these women have been wearing before this era of BBL. Some that even show skin and it looks great and it looks fashionable.
Hey guys, it's Wadsy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing the video I kind of was putting off for a hot minute. I really wanted to do for a hot minute, that I put off for a hot minute. Then I was like, girl, you like talking about fashion, so you need to do it. Like, that's what you've been wanting to do. So she's back. Today we're going to talk about BBL fashion, okay? BBL stands for Brazilian butt lift. I just first want to say I'm not doing a complete deep dive, just because when I do videos like this, they end up ending up being like 30-35 minutes, 40 minutes long, and it's just like, I don't know who's really watching all of that, you know, who really has the time and day. I first want to preface to say, like, I'm talking about this, the name of this fashion and style has been labeled BBL fashion. So I'm not particularly talking about BBLs in this video. I'm not talking about BBL procedures. I know there's so many videos about that, and covering how, like, you know, how that fashion, that body trend is going to unfold itself in the future, and how it's unfolded itself in the past, and how it came about. I am not talking about that. I'm simply talking about fashion in this video. So, you know, this is a fashion channel. If you're interested in hearing more about that, keep on watching. You probably should keep on watching, because this is going to be, we're going to unpack a lot in this video. I've got my laptop here, so BBLs, the Brazilian butt lift, basically has actually influenced the way the fashion world has moved, you know. I think we all know how it all started, or if you don't, I'll link down some videos below. But the Brazilian butt lift itself has made a huge influence onto the fashion world, and how the fashion world has reacted, and the collections that have come out, specifically the fast fashion lines, specifically brands such as, like, you know, Fashionnova, Pretty Little Thing, Boohoo, and stuff like that. Before BBLs, even though I said I'm not talking about it, I just want to quickly glitter over it. Before BBLs, obviously there was always curvy bodies, there was always hourglass pear-shaped bodies, there's always women who naturally actually exhibit those features. However, the whole thing of BBL fashion, that type of fashion, like, didn't really, maybe existed within a time, but, like, you know, the fashion trend was not created, I think, based off like natural curvy bodies. It was created based off the body trend. The body trend, does this make sense? Does this make sense? I couldn't really find anything, but I think the reason why it's called that is because this type of style of clothing was popularized when BBLs, the body trend, became popular, when we started to see it in mainstream media by several celebrities, and when there was those speculations about several celebrities getting BBLs. That's when we started to see this particular fashion style creep up times 10, and yeah, it's gotten crazy. But a lot of people have made videos on YouTube recently about whether the BBL epidemic has come to an end. I don't think so. I recently watched a video last week by Laurie Hill talking about the country club BBL, which is more of like, supposed to be more like a natural looking BBL. Before the BBL, it didn't really matter. The whole thing of it was, it doesn't really matter if the butt is out of proportion with your legs, or with your thighs, or with your with anything really. It was like, the bigger the better, whatever. But now we're looking at a fashion trend, a body trend, sorry, that's more so, people really couldn't tell if you've had bodily work or not, because the butt you're getting down, the hips you're getting down is very much in proportion with you. It's just very subtle and discreet work. So I will link that video down below. So yeah, I don't think it's an end of the BBL era, but because of this, I do think the fashion trend, the BBL fashion trend, we are going to see it change and transform in a way, because yeah. So quickly, just like I mentioned earlier, BBL fashion is a style and aesthetic of clothing that consists of extreme rips, bodycons, cutouts, anything close to being naked basically. The whole point of this style and aesthetic is to show off the look of a BBL, aka a Brazilian butt lifts, which is a cosmetic procedure that was trending in 2017 from the rise of insider celebrity influence. Since 2014, the number of butt lifts performed globally has grown by 77.6%, according to a recent survey done by the International Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgery. Whew. So I think those things alone, rips, bodycons, and cutouts, we have seen it throughout the years within fashion. For example, rips, we've seen it in ripped jeans, cutouts, seen cutout jumpers, we've seen cutout tops, very like maybe one cutout on a top or something, or maybe yeah, or like one cutout on a jumper, you know, or maybe like a few rips on jeans. The most we've seen it is ripped jeans. And bodycons, yes, we've all known of figure holding dresses. Everyone knows about that. It's always been around, you know, it's nothing like shocking to the eye. But with BBL fashion, what I notice, it seems to combine all those things, but it seems to be more like on the extreme end. So before, where we'll see like maybe you get one cut on your top here, with BBL fashion you have 3-6 cuts on a top, to where it almost looks like your top is not even there anymore. And I know BBL fashion, for a lot of people, especially who are more curvy or even maybe even more on the bigger side, it's made them feel comfortable wearing figure holding tight jeans, because it's all about showing the body, showing the skin, showing the silhouette. But then I also think on the other side of the coin, because the trend now with a lot of fashion brands has kind of become so extreme, some of the clothes we're seeing, it's just not practical, it's just not wearable like for the everyday person. Not everyone, you know, with a curvier body or a bigger body really wants to be having a hole near their hoo-ha. Like I said, you don't actually need a curvier body or bigger body to wear BBL fashion or BBL clothes, but in the beginning it was kind of like, this is just my opinion honestly, kind of like a way to market and push forward this idea of this body standard, this body type, because that's what we were seeing. Like the models who were wearing it, we were seeing them exhibit a BBL body shape. I don't really think the BBL body shape like celebrated like women who've already had those bodies previously and maybe struggled with that, because of like the beauty standards then were different to the beauty standards now. But some people feel like they have been celebrated, so I don't know, let me know if you feel like you fit into that body shape naturally. Do you think the BBL fashion has made you feel celebrated, or do you feel like you still haven't been seen because you know, you haven't really seen like natural bodies like being shown like yours? Or doesn't it make a difference, because at the end of the day the body is like yours whether it's natural or not? Or does it still kind of feel like, you know, you're not being represented basically? Because I know specifically as well for brands like Fashionnova, when they first started out, like there was like people were like, oh my gosh, yes, the woman of Fashionnova website, they've got body yardie, and it was like a whole joke, kind of like buying clothes of Fashionnova and expecting you to look like the model, but you realizing the body does not come with it. And then even Fashionnova went under the fire of like only showing one body type, representing one body type on their website, and even then it was like the perfect hourglass. Yes, it's a representation of wider hips and a bum, but it's like still kind of fitting a mold of like the flat stomach. It still looks perfect, it still looks great. So yeah, do you really feel represented as a curvier person, as someone with bigger hips, bigger bum, if the model that's being shown isn't really close to the reality of what most people with that body type will actually look like, you know? So talking about Fashionnova, in 2017, according to Google, Fashionnova was one of the most searched fashion brands alongside Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Supreme, and Chanel. This company was racking it in. That's all the fashion YouTube hauls were all Fashionnova hauls.
Doing a Fashionnova try on haul today for another Fashionnova haul.
Especially Fashionnova is the viral Instagram brand known to be worn by celebrities such as Blac Chyna, Cardi B, Kylie Jenner, and many more through the likes of Instagram collaborations. So those 3 prime celebrities, by the way, I did some research on this and this is the names that they give them. All of them allegedly have had BBLs. So, you know, these people, these 3 women were like the spokesperson for Fashionnova brands, were the representation for Fashionnova, and Fashionnova's main focus was to kind of promote and show products and clothing items for curvier body shapes. But my question has always been with Fashionnova, why have they never had a woman who naturally has always had that body shape and has always had that struggle? It just, yeah, anyways. One of the main things that built Fashionnova is their jeans. Their jeans were $35 and are mostly made in the US from a stretchy denim that hugs the hips and waist, which is always an easy fit for women with an hourglass body shape. I know with jeans, that was one of the biggest problems women with a curvy body shape, women with a booty struggled with. And I think Topshop did a great job at doing that. It did not flatten your bum. Oh my gosh, the light. Yeah, brands like Topshop did such a great job at making sure that they were like very inclusive at the time with jeans. I personally feel like, and I think Fashionnova was just like that online brand that you can go to, known for sculpting and making your bum look very good and very flattering, especially at this time. I think it was like such a huge kind of luck how Fashionnova had this concept at the time where the body trend of curvier big bum and stuff like that was just coming in, and that's what Fashionnova was creating products for. That was the type of woman Fashionnova was creating products for. And yeah, just like it just kind of seemed like perfect timing for me, to be honest. So Khloe Kardashian was also seen wearing the infamous Fashionnova jeans before going on to creating her own line, Good American. So it seems Fashionnova was originally created as a place for women with curvier body types such as thicker thighs, wider hips, big bums to find flattering clothing items for their curvaceous shape. Yet this company at the beginning, I wasn't really seeing them work with women that have always had that. So I was just like, that's why I kind of thought like Fashionnova kind of always just promoted like BBLs. Like I never felt as if it was like a company where it was promoting, you know, thicker thighs, wider hips, bigger bum, whatever. Because all the pictures like I was seeing on their site was clearly women who had just work and surgery, and it's kind of, I wasn't getting their mission. It didn't really feel like authentic to me. It kind of felt like, yeah, they're just kind of pushing out this ideal body type, because what they're showing of an hourglass body shape is like the perfect version for them. It's not like how maybe the everyday woman's body shape will be looking who's an hourglass. So it still didn't feel like relatable. It didn't really feel like that was really their mission to me. It kind of felt like it was kind of pushing out this idea of the unrealistic body standard, because the woman that they had used as well, mainly to promote their body, had a literal unrealistic body, because they literally got it done. So they literally got to choose how exactly they want it to look. And it was like such a thing where I remember when Kylie Jenner was working with Fashionnova so much, and there was always videos of people buying things that Kylie would buy in Fashionnova and wearing them and realizing that, oh, I just don't have the body and stuff like that. So that plays like a huge effect on how it really affects people. So yeah, I don't know, I think Fashionnova wasn't really for that. Okay, so the next brand I want to talk about, because like I said, you know, Fashionnova isn't the only brand that's been able to profit off this body trend. PLT is also being able to do the same. Now I feel like PLT, dare I say, I feel like it's more inclusive in terms of showing this shape, this hourglass shape. It's not only showing one way the hourglass shape can look, whereas I feel like Fashionnova, it's very manicured. I think with PLT we're seeing a different variety of women. However, what I'm about to talk about next isn't like a great example. So PLT also created an edit with the fashion influencer Demi Rose, and the focus of the edit says, okay, get ready to serve up nothing but body yaddy yaddy. Out of the world, babe, with the ultimate curve appeal. Demi Rose is back with an edit of fire fits to dress your shape. Come ready to serve this summer in the figure-hugging styles to wake that golden hour and take you from sun-ups to sundown. In a color palette of neutral hues with the hits of bold brights, this edit is not for the fashion faint-hearted. Raise temperatures and adorn your farm with the dresses made for after dark. Make them sweat with barely their separates featuring killer cut detailing and serve up those cleavage enhanced styles. Whatever your plans are this style, this edit is anything but understated and guaranteed to make you look unforgettable. Oh, it definitely is. The edit definitely is. See, I made a video on TikTok talking about how like I actually don't like a lot of BBL fashion styles, and a lot of people thought I was being anti-curve, but really what I mean is like I don't really, when I look at the lot of, it's just the extreme cutout. So when I look at a lot of the styles and stuff like that, it doesn't really feel like it's supposed to be a fashion piece, just because the materials, they're not great. I'm not saying I wear perfect materials all the time, but the materials are not great. The rips and the cutouts look like they can be stretched to be even made bigger. It doesn't look, it doesn't look great for me. It doesn't look great. And the thing is, you know, there's so many other clothes and stuff like that that flatter, curvier and hourglass body shapes and stuff. You don't need like extreme cutouts for it to be flattering. So I don't really think me saying that I don't particularly like the style is me saying that like, oh, I don't like anything that suits like curvier body shapes or whatever, or hourglass body shapes or pear body shapes and stuff like that. That's literally not the case. I love the bodycon dresses, but I just think, I don't know, it kind of, it's not giving. It's not really giving, and it's not really practical, and people can't really wear this. You can really wear it for festivals, and it's just a nice way to say, look, I'm just trying to let people see the body you paid for. I'm just trying to let people see it. I'm just trying to let people see it, because really and truly, who is this flattering? Like, who is it flattering? Most of the time, who is it flattering? With all the holes coming all the way up here and there, and who's wearing that? Who's wearing that? So I also noticed that PLT have a PLT shape range, which is all about enhancing your curves. They also have other ranges such as PLT Tall, PLT Petite, PLT Plus, as their mission to be an all-inclusive brand, which I really do feel like PLT tries to do, especially with the edits they do with people. It's the different influencers they work with all have different types of body shapes, heights, races and stuff. But I feel like Fashionnova, it was just kind of selling what's trending right now. As much as they tried to be an inclusive brand, like in the beginning, I remember there was this huge thing of Fashionnova only having light skin, curvy models, hourglass models, but normally it was like really skinny, petite women on there. Like you can be an hourglass shape and you can still be skinny and petite. And that was all they were showing, only women who light skin with that body shape. And most of the time it was like the body shapes that have been altered. They weren't showing a variation of body shapes that had been altered or body shapes that hadn't been altered. And it's like, well, you're selling the clothes to women who, most of them haven't had anything altered. Like, we want to see people that look like us on your website as well. Thank you very much. And I think a huge part of Fashionnova is target audience was black women, and just to not actually feel represented and only seeing light skinned women or only seeing mixed women on there was just kind of like, well, okay, we're not even like fully really being represented. So I feel like that's really the only thing that with the thing with colorism and also only showing like one type of like curvy body on there was like a huge controversy. But before that, everyone was lapping off it. Everyone was buying Fashion Nova stuff, hoping to look like the Fashion Nova ambassadors, hoping to look like Black China when they were in their Fashion Nova, hoping to look like Cardi B when we're in their Fashion Nova, or even Kylie Jenner when we're in their Fashion Nova. But yes, the videos were interesting. I'm literally running out of time. I wanted to talk about how S-work, because I can't say the word because of YouTube, has influenced BBL fashion, because it really has. And I did not realize this, how a lot of the things that we're seeing and the pieces that we're seeing from BBL fashion is actually taken from fashion and clothes that S-workers wear. So there was this article written by Hype Bay. I think a former S-worker had written the article, and she talks about how the styles we see today, in particular BBL fashion, had derived from S-work. So the writer gave an example of brands that have appropriated S-work style, stating one example of the fashion industry appropriating S-work culture is Louis Vuitton on their fall-winter 2013 promotional film, which depicts the life of a streetwalker. So in this, it was created for Love magazine. They actually had Cara Delevingne basically walking around in like little to no clothing, and the whole thing was just kind of to show, like, you know, trying to convey that she is an S-worker basically. I don't really understand why this was done. I think it was done like in a campaign to promote their new, clearly like their new like winter 2013, their fall winter 2013 collection. But what this woman was saying is she's complaining how they didn't actually use an actual S-work and they just used a model, and it did receive a lot of backlash, like but people were saying that they were promoting S-work or they were glamorizing S-work. So I think that was really interesting, because I haven't heard people talk a lot about, you know, what we're seeing today within BBL fashion and how, like, you know, it's ridiculous for every single day, but are we really thinking about where actually is this coming from? Is it just coming from the fact that like this bodily trend is now trending, so the reaction is to let's show more skin and wear less clothes, or is that fashion trend actually coming from somewhere else? That's literally all I have to say today. I literally basically just rambled the whole video, but I just think there was just so much more to what we're seeing with BBL fashion, and a lot of us are like, why on earth, what's happening? Why are all our clothes having holes? Why are all our clothes, this is too much. So I thought doing a deep dive would be really cool. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.